All right, in this video, we're gonna do a bunch of glute work with the balls. And so to begin, we're gonna start in a test pose. And the test pose is called Supta Baddha Konasana. And basically you just take the soles of your feet together, your knees out wide, and place your head on the ground. And from here, if you just imagine that the back of your body is covered in blue ink, and you're making a stamp of yourself in the ground. Notice the shape that you're making with your feet, like where your feet are hitting the ground. And just compare the left side to the right side and notice if there's a difference, if they're the same or if they're different. And sometimes I like to imagine not only the blue ink, but actually like I'm laying in the sand and I'm making a dent in the sand. Because then you can feel, oh yeah, like for me, right now my left foot is in deeper than my right foot. And then start to take your awareness to your knees. And without looking at them, see if you can feel if one knee is closer to the ground and one knee is a little higher away from the ground. And so first you start with your self-perception, and then if you want to look, you can, or you can just take your hands and kind of feel. Yeah, right now my left knee is closer to the ground than my right knee. And feel the sensation on the adductors in the pelvis. You bring your awareness up to the pelvis. How's that stretch feel? Does it feel buttery, soft, supple, or does it feel kind of like a bunch of crinkly, janky angles? Is there pulls that are just compressing or pinpointing in one spot, or is there a sense of spreading and even stretching? And then notice the shape that your pelvis is making on the ground. So you're going to notice the first part of your glutes that touch the ground and the last part of your pelvis that touches the ground. So all the way to the bottom, all the way to the top. And notice the shape on the left side and the right side. If you look at your blue ink shape, just notice like is one side sort of splooging out more, one side a little more perky. And you know, what's the difference? Is one side wider, one side longer? And then if you imagine you're in sand, is one side in the sand deeper? And I like the sand because you start to realize there's rotations in the body. There's ways that you're a little twisted. And then take your awareness into the low back area and just notice, you know, how much of an arch does your low back have? And is it the same on the left as the right? Is the arch shorter in length and longer in length on one side? Like the right side of mine is shorter, the left side is longer. Yeah, how much arch is there? Is it like at its highest point, is it like a finger width, 2 finger width, 3 finger width, 4 finger widths? You know, how much of an arch is that there in the low back? And then just notice the rib cage and how it's laying on the ground. And you might imagine again that you are covered in blue ink and you're making a stamp. And just look at the print you're making. And notice, you know, is it the same on the right side as the left, or are the two sides really different from each other? You know, is one side longer, one side shorter, one side wider, one side skinnier? And then as if you're laying in sand, you know, you're imagining the print you would make, is one side deeper down in the sand than the other? Now I'm noticing that the right side of my ribcage is deeper in the sand. So it's interesting, there's a twist. It's like the left side of my pelvis and foot, knee are all lower to the ground. The right side of my body is lower to the ground. My torso. So the lower body is rotating to the left, the upper body is rotating to the right. And to me, that suggests that there's a pattern going here from tight adductors up to this left shoulder and pec. That there's a tightness from my right side of my lower body that goes up to my left shoulder. And you might notice your shoulder blades too, like how are they laying on the ground? Are they tucked under? Are they poking in? What kind of shape are they making? Is it the same on the right as it is on the left? And then just start to feel the arch of your neck. And how much arch is there? How long is it? Like if you had to measure the last place that your spine touches the ground, the first place your skull touches the ground, how long is that? Is it like 5 inches, 6 inches, 3 inches? You don't want to actually touch it. This is all about self-perception. And so if you feel like you absolutely have to know for real, first get the self-perception, because how you perceive yourself is the most important thing. And then getting that reality check is also pretty cool. And then start to feel the arch in the neck. How much arch is there? How high is it at its highest place? It's like 2 fingers, 3 fingers. And then feel the base of your skull in the ground. Just notice the shape that the base of your skull is making. And you could compare the right side to the left side, see, and you can also feel like you're in sand. And just notice if one side of your skull is deeper in the ground. Okay, now from here, we're gonna get our balls. So I'm gonna squeeze my knees together, and I'm gonna get these yoga tune-up balls. They come in this tote. Yoga Tune-Up, the Role Model Method by Jill Miller. And we're gonna take them out of their tote. Size of a tennis ball, but they're firm and they're sticky. And we're gonna put these in the glutes. So I'm gonna put one, and so here's my sacrum in the middle. I'm gonna put one ball in each side. Boom, boom. And I'm gonna do it in this position. You can put the balls, one on each side. I would say they have about a hand width in between them. So you can see I've stuck them in my glutes. And I've got my knees open. You can do this with your knees open, or you can put your feet flat on the ground and have your knees up. And you're just gonna slide the balls left and right. And so I'm gonna show you what I'm doing, because a lot of people just go boom, 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 like they're pushing the balls up and in their glutes, and that's not really what I mean. What you're doing is you're rolling the balls from here to over here to over there. And we're gonna do the whole glute, top, middle, and bottom. Yep. So just roll them to the left. And so now one's on my sacrum and one's in my outer hip. And then I can roll them over to the right. And we're going to do this all the way up and all the way down. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. If they start to come apart too far, just put them a little closer together. And you're just hunting around for tender spots, sore spots, places that, there's like that type of pain that feels so good to sink into. If you hit a nerve, you don't really want to do tissue work on a nerve. So just go above, below, or a little to the left or the right. Oh man, I'm going down here. If you get in a good spot, you can feel free to hang out there. So I'm just gonna hang out because this spot on the back of my glutes is actually releasing the inner groin. So you can find places like that. If your body's having a hard time receiving the pressure, like, what you can do is contract and relax. And so I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna squeeze the glutes in a way that actually pushes the ball out. I'm gonna hold that squeeze for about 10 seconds. And then really slowly release, like slow, like just gradually letting it sink in, sink in, sink in, sink in, sink in. Whoo! You can do that a bunch of times on each spot, however many times you need in order to get the tissue so that it's willing to let go of its reactivity and death grip. And now from here, I'm gonna start to go back up. And so I'm moving the balls, and I wanna get all the way up to the upper glutes where I get into it's like the minimus. You got your glute max, but then you got glute minimus. Glute minimus is like right where the mom jean, you know those high-waisted jeans, those mom jean pockets that's where that lives. It's like your upper butt. It's an amazing muscle to work on if your low back is tight, because it helps like open the gateway so that the tension in the back can release down the legs. Man. And you can always you can take your knees in and out so that you rotate the femur, taking the glutes from long to short while you're on the balls. Oh gosh. And just ranges of motion feel really good. And sometimes you can bicycle a leg and you can roll the knee in and out. It's like if I take this like that, in and out. It's really great. And I'm just going all the way up to the top of my pelvis, which is full of glute muscles. And we're just this is working the fascia and the muscles. And I find this is really helpful with nerve stuff. It lets the tissue open up so that the nerves can flow through here really nicely. Oh gosh, you don't want to stop. And I'm going to take these two balls out and return to the test position. So take your balls out, return to whoa, a different beast. Just notice all the changes that happen. That feels amazing. Okay, number 2. I'm going to take the two balls and stack them vertical now. And so I put them on my sacrum, and they're vertical. So one is near my tailbone and one is near the top of my sacrum. The last one, they were horizontal. This one's vertical. So you can see, if I just roll to the side, you can see how they're stacked. They're sort of reflecting my spine. And I'm going to come up to my elbows. And I'm going to take these balls and I'm going to roll them over. So I'm going through these upper glutes here. And I'm coming around to the side. So I'm just a little behind the greater trochanter bone. All the glutes, they come off the sacrum and they attach to the outside of the hip here. This is an amazing spot to work. I'm going to chug around a little till I feel something tender. And when I find it, I'm going to bicycle my leg. So 3 bicycles forward. Oh gosh. And 3 bicycles backward. And then I put my heel down. I'm going to wave my knee in and out. And then I'm going to roll around just a little bit more. Like I'm kind of staying in this area because, every little tiny adjustment takes me to a new land of good stuff to work on. I'm going to bicycle the leg here. And then I'll reverse the cycling 3 times. And I'll take my heel down and I'm going to wave my knee in and out. Internal rotation, taking the glutes long. External rotation, taking them short. In and out, in and out, in and out. Now I'm gonna go find one more spot. I like to do 3. That's my favorite number. On a bicycle. Now, I like tissue work a lot more than I like stretching because I feel way, way more of a difference, way bigger changes from it than I get from stretching. And I also feel more muscular activation from it. And so rolling is an awesome thing to do pre-workout because you're gonna feel those muscles working so much better. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna come off of there and I'm gonna return to this test pose and just feel the differences in between the 2 legs. And in the back. Wow. Okay, coming to the other side. Okay, so again, I'm stacking these vertically. Dun, dun, dun. And put them on my sacrum. There's ways to get in. You could do it like I just did, which is just kind of the less graceful way to get in. Most graceful way is to start laying down and then put them under your pelvis. Love it. I'll pop up under the heels of my elbows here. And then I'm gonna roll the balls, rolling them across the glute minimus. Medius, glute medius. I've been saying minimus. I was like, what's the word? Medius, not minimus. Might be getting a little bit of the minimus. Glute med. Okay, we're getting around to the back of that greater trochanter joint. So all those glute muscles, including the piriformis, famous for sciatica, are coming from the sacrum across. Yep. Once you find a spot that feels tender, 3 bicycles. Oh man, that feels good. And then place your heel on the ground. You're gonna rotate the knee in and out. Chug around a little bit more, see if you can find something else that feels really good. And bicycle. Oh. And backward. And put your heel on the ground and we're gonna go in and out. Oh, feels so good. One more spot. I'm going a little bit lower. I'm going more towards that greater trochanter bone. Take the knee in and out. I'll recheck. Holy moly, this pose is feeling amazing now. Oh, I'm a lot flatter. The tension patterns are really dissolving. Okay, the next place we're gonna go is in the outer hip. And so it'll be good to put these balls back in this tote. And what I'm gonna do, this is hard. When I teach this, everybody gets confused. So you have your greater trochanter bone, which is the outer, there's a hip bump bone. Like if you were to hip bump something, you bam, hit them really hard. Or like say you're hanging out at the bus stop instead of standing out like this, it's this part of the hip that really pushes out. So that's there. And that's the femur bone comes up and there's this bony prominence that pushes out. And then you have your pelvis, and the top of my pelvic wing is right up here. And we're gonna go between these 2 bones. So in all these muscles that are right in here. And I'm gonna take the tote horizontal again. So vertical is this direction, horizontal. And so I put that on the ground. And I'm gonna put this right here. Okay, see where I am? Top of my pelvis is right there, and the greater trochanter bone is right there. And I'm right between the 2, and I'm directly on the outside of my body. Like I'm not on my back, on the side of the leg. And I'm just gonna chug up and down a little bit. And the first time I did this, it was like crazy. So just go up and down a little so you feel, okay, there's the top of my pelvis, there's that greater trochanter bone, get right in between on something that feels like, this could use some work. This could use some tissue work. And then bring this knee up. The first thing we're gonna do is contract and relax. So you can inhale fully, hold your breath, and then squeeze the glutes where the balls are. And you're squeezing in a way that pops the balls out. And then relax. Letting them sink in. You can let the exhale go. Do that 3 times. So inhale fully. Squeeze those muscles so the balls pop out of your leg. Exhale and let the balls move in towards the bones. Again, inhale fully. Squeeze. Exhale. And let them slowly sink in. Like really work your muscular control to let them slowly sink in. Now we're gonna do something that's very similar, slightly different. I'm gonna push my knee into the ground. So if my hand was under my knee, I'd be squishing it. So this knee goes straight into the ground. So inhale, hold your breath and smash the ground with this leg, smushing the floor. You'll feel that contracts those same muscles. The balls are. And then relax. Let it sink in. 2 more. If you want to spend more time in this, you can. Like you might spend more time letting go and letting the balls really sink in. Feels so good. All right, now the next move, we're gonna lift this leg up. Should be really feeling it now. And we're gonna turn the knee up to the sky. So the kneecap turns up, and then turn the kneecap down towards the floor. So turn the knee up and down. Up and down. Oh, take that out. Return to your test pose. Oh. Just notice what you feel changing. Now I feel like the whole right side of my body is longer from the hip to the rib cage. And we're gonna stick with the same side and go down the outside of the leg where the IT band is. Now the balls, I'm gonna have you put them horizontal again, so not vertical, but horizontal. And what will happen is actually we're gonna be hugging the top and the bottom of the IT band and those muscles that run along that tract. So I'm gonna go right on the outside of my leg, so I'm right on the back, like I'm not on the front and I'm not on the back of the leg, I'm on the side of the leg. And I put my elbow down, and first of all, I'm just gonna chug here. I find that greater trochanter bone, and I'll go down a little bit. Oh man, this is good. Now, a lot of people will say that doing tissue work on your IT band is like a fool's errand. It's like it just won't ever change. And you should try this and see what you think, because what we're gonna do here, I feel a big change from. And so I'm gonna chug that until I can actually set my pelvis down. And this way I can control the pressure, so I can actually lift my leg up off the ball. So that's how you know you're in the right position. And you can put a little extra pressure by putting your hand on the inside thigh if you want extra pressure. We're just gonna bend and straighten the leg. And so what we're doing here is I've got that tissue pinned down. And then as I open the leg and close the leg, I'm taking these muscles from long to short, long to short. And so we're getting the tissue layers to glide on each other. And that's really helpful if you have fascial adhesions, because that's where layers are not gliding. And so here we are, we're asking, can we work this out? Can we move, get that gliding action going? And then I'm gonna add a little motion where I'm actually chugging, like I'm kicking as if I'm now swimming in the water, and so that the balls chug horizontally across the IT band and those muscles on the outside of the thigh here as I open and close the knee. There's a swinging of the leg. Yeah, and then I'm gonna come up a little bit, chug, until I find a new spot that feels really good. Oh, that's the spot. And I'm just gonna bend and straighten here. And then I'll start to swing the leg across so that the balls are chugging left and right across the outside of my thigh as I open and close the knee. Oh my gosh. Feels amazing. Okay, I'm gonna go down a little farther. You could always just move it with your hand, but I actually prefer rolling it. So if you kind of get up a little bit and then you roll it into place, because I feel like you discover more when you roll it into place. And I'm gonna bend and straighten here. And if you start to feel like, okay, I want more pressure, you could put your upper leg on top here. You really don't need that much pressure, so don't think it's like no pain, no gain. It's really not that at all. But if it feels good, you can trust that. I'm adding that little bit of a swing so the balls chug horizontally across that tissue as I open and close it. We're gonna work a little farther downward here. So I'm gonna move down so that I can still see you. Oh, good. And this is starting to get to my favorite tissue, which is close to the knee. The closer I get to my knee, the more I'm like, oh my God, this is where I need it. So open and close. And start to kick across. Woo! Yowza! You can see I've let my top knee just come down. That's another thing you could do. You just let the upper leg, the weight of the upper leg rest. I've got the knee bent and my foot up off the ground. And I'm gonna get closer to the knee still. And sometimes I like to roll, kind of like I was doing sort of single point, and then I like to roll because it feels like it disperses the stuff that's in there, the stagnancy, the stuck muscles. Stuck chi. And then I'm gonna come right above the knee. So I'm not on the knee, but I am kind of hugging the joint. Same deal, bend and straighten. And then chug across. I feel that releasing all down into my toes. Pinky toe and ring toe. And even that third toe. Okay, I'm taking that out and I'm gonna return to the test pose. Just see, what do I notice? Oh man. You might notice muscular changes, structural changes, alignment changes. You might notice changes in your ink blotch or the amount you're pressing into the ground. You also might just notice chi or ki, like a sense of glow and flow, like the tissues have been soaked with water, or like you've just gotten it oiled. Okay, so you can go ahead and do the other side. Remember, you're gonna start in the outer hip and then work your way all the way down to the knee. Try that out and let me know how you feel.